It doesn't begin with a scream. It begins in silence.
The kind of silence that lives inside a small child who learns, long before they should, that love can vanish without warning. You're 7 years old, sitting in the corner of a room that feels colder than it should. Your parent is there, but not really there. Maybe it's the bottle. Maybe it's the rage. Maybe it's the emptiness in their eyes when they look right through you. And in that moment, something ancient stirs inside your mind, a thought far too heavy for a child to carry.
If I don't keep everything together, no one will. That's the exact moment childhood ends.
Not with age, but with responsibility you never asked for.
You start smiling when you're supposed to cry. You start helping when you should be held.
You become the calm in the storm that never ends because someone has to.
And the world praises you for it. You're so mature. You're so strong. You're so responsible. But no one ever stops to ask, at what cost?
This is the invisible grief of those who grew up too fast. The grief of a child who disappeared behind a mask of competence and calm. Because you didn't stop being a child. You just learned that being one was dangerous.
Psychologists call it parentification.
When a child becomes the caretaker, the peacekeeper, the emotional anchor for the people who are supposed to be theirs.
And it doesn't just steal innocence, it rewires your brain.
When your safety depends on other people's moods, your nervous system adapts. You become hypervigilant, always scanning for tension, reading every sigh, every silence, every slammed door. You learn that love is conditional. That peace must be earned. That your needs are secondary and their comfort comes first.
You disappear. Not physically, but emotionally.
You shrink yourself into someone who keeps the world balanced, even if it means losing yourself in the process.
As you grow, that pattern follows you like a shadow. You become the good one.
The achiever. The listener. The one who never asks for anything.
You wear that identity so perfectly, even you forget it's a mask. But inside, something aches.
Something screams in the dark, why didn't anyone protect me? Because that inner child, the one you buried under all that strength, never really died.
They just learned to stay quiet. As an adult, it doesn't look like trauma. It looks like independence. It looks like success.
It looks like you've got everything figured out, while secretly, you're still walking on emotional eggshells.
You don't trust peace because peace feels suspicious. You don't know how to rest because rest feels unsafe. You give endlessly, hoping someone will notice you're running on empty. And when they don't, you just push harder. Because if you stop, you might have to feel. You might have to face the truth. That you've built a life around avoiding the pain of being unseen. Here's the tragedy. What once saved you is now what's hurting you.
The survival patterns that kept you alive are now keeping you from living.
You became strong, but not free. You learned to help others, but not yourself.
You became the emotional shelter for everyone while your own soul stood outside in the rain.
And no one can see it because you hide it so well. You're the reliable one. The calm one. The one who fixes everything. But inside, you're tired. So tired of being strong. Tired of pretending that being fine doesn't hurt. Healing doesn't start with fixing. It starts with witnessing, finally seeing what really happened. Because for so long you've gaslighted yourself with words like, "It wasn't that bad. Other people had it worse. I turned out fine." But fine isn't peace. Mine is survival dressed up as stability. And somewhere deep inside you know that. So what happens to the child who was never allowed to be a child? They grow into adults who flinch at kindness, apologize for crying, feel guilty for resting, confuse exhaustion with accomplishment, because being needed became your only proof of worth. And yet here's the truth you've been running from. You don't have to earn love anymore. You don't have to fix everything to deserve rest. No one is coming to rescue the child you buried, because you are the one who must go back and rescue them. Go back to that small, scared version of you, the one sitting in the corner trying to keep the world from falling apart. Tell them what no one else ever did. You didn't deserve that. You were just a child. You can rest now. That's the beginning of shadow work. Not pretending, not forcing positivity, but turning toward the pain you spent years avoiding and saying, I see you, I hear you, and I'm not leaving. It's brutal work, because healing asks you to feel the grief you never got to feel. The birthdays that passed without celebration, the hugs you gave but never received, the safety you provided but never had. And yet, that grief is sacred. It means your heart is thawing. It means you're finally coming home to yourself. Carl Jung once said,
There is no coming to consciousness without pain. People will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul.
But the moment you stop running, everything begins to change. You start to realize the child who held the world together doesn't need to anymore. You can stop fixing. You can stop performing. You can stop proving. You can finally just be. You may always have scars from what happened.
But scars aren't signs of weakness. They're proof that healing took place.
And maybe for the first time you can let that child inside of you come home.
Let them cry. Let them play. Let them laugh.
And because you're safe now. You never had a childhood, but you still have a future. And this time, you get to write it.